Hi, my name is Affi, and you're welcome to this conversation with me. And I'm not here alone.
My name is Funmi.
Okay.
So we'll be keeping it real, having
Candid, frank
conversations
about our real life situations, okay?
Yeah.
Relationship, being widows, mothers, single parents,
working,
Yeah, living in the UK.
trying to make sense of life as we've been experiencing it.
Exactly. And so far, we've been very, very candid and real about our experiences. And as I always say, we're not using this to teach people any lessons, We're just having a safe space to talk about ourselves, talk about how we feel, the things we've been going through. And if you identify with it and it helps you in any way, fine. Just enjoy the conversation, okay? Because today we're going to be talking about something interesting about our lives. That's about dating. So in a couple of conversations we've had, we've talked about how it feels like we've been, I don't want to say fishes, but it feels like we've been thrown into the deep end of the ocean, and we're trying to swim for survival,
Yeah.
get our lives back together. And it's not really been an easy journey, but it's been an adventure that's it's interesting, I would say.
But let me just say, I would like to trade places with someone that is not going through this. So if it's fine, unfortunately, we live our lives the way we are meant to live it. So
You know what you just said now? Some people would say, oh, you've experienced marriage now. What are you saying? So if maybe a single person would say, nah, no, you don't mean that. I'd rather be in your shoe. At least I'm married. Me, that I'm looking for marriage and all of that. But basically, people have their different experiences, okay?
absolutely.
And no matter where you are, I have come to learn that where you are at that point, make the most of it, make the best of it, learn the lessons you need to learn. And if it's a good, you have some good things going on, please enjoy it. Because you might not have that time again, or that whatever it is that you feel are not benefits for you at that point. You might not get them again. One day will come and you'll be longing for this day,
But seriously, Afi, the part I am saying I would rather not do is being a widow.
Yeah,
That's that part.
true.
All
True.
of the experiences.
I'm not sure many people would want to be widows, at least not me, And talking about, being a widow and all of that, and then having to start this relationship thing, as I'd said before, it's kind of a bit hard, especially for someone like me, who it's been a long time I've been in the game, So I got married in my mid-20s, early, late 20s. And I was married for about 19 years, So, I mean, coming back to wanting to date somebody and start a relationship, it's been close to being a Herculean task, if I should call it that, So, well, we're here to just share, basically. So, who's going today first?
Afi, just
Why
start.
are we saying Afi?
Afi, just start this conversation. Set the ball rolling. So
Okay. Well, let me start with this thing that I came across recently. So, this lady on social media, Ife, Dang. If you're
Diary
part
of
of
a
Dang,
Nigerian Girl. Is that it?
Yeah, Diary of Niger Girl.
Niger Girl.
Exactly. Yeah. So I used to be a part of the Dan community. Still am because
Really?
I like that. Yeah.
Ah.
From time before I even realized how on Twitter. Oh, I follow her on Twitter.
Right. I follow as
So
well.
she put up this post. And she said, "Tell me what's the update on your relationship," and say it in skincare language. So I found it very interesting. I was like, oh, well, how's that going to sound? So I just thought, okay, let me look through what people have written. And I found what they had written quite interesting. Seriously. Some were a bit emotional. Some were really funny, hilarious,
In
And
skincare language.
yes, skincare language, makeup, skincare kind of thing. Ladies would understand. Men, not so much. Not many men
Don't
anyway.
be sure. There are a lot
That's
of
why I
men
said
that are
not
into
many.
skincare now.
As I said, not many men. But anyway, I wrote something there. I said, let me give this a go. So I said, what is the state of my relationship right now? The product I was using was recalled by the manufacturer for reasons I do not understand, as it was a tested and trusted foundation. Yeah, it was a foundation. Now, the palette came with a concealer, good contour kit in a shade that just suited my skin just fine. The skin tone, was really good on me. Although I did notice that the container, not the content, because the content was really good, but the container was having some manufacturing errors at the edges. Exactly, some glitches, and I was really hoping that the manufacturers would just say, okay, you know what? This product, the packaging is not so good. Let's work on the repackaging it, and stuff. But then instead of taking the products
off the market,
back, so the thing is, instead of taking the products back, that's recalling it, and then just working on it, the packaging, and then presenting it, which is what a lot of people would do. But what was done was the product was taken off the market totally. So that's how I ended up not seeing that my foundation that really works for me. And don't forget that I said that this foundation was really, really good on me. I loved it. It covered up all the blemishes, I had. I glue, I was glowing with it. Did I say I glue before?
You said that, but that maybe... Wait, you did say that you glowed when you were using this product.
I was glowing now.
So everyone saw that it was a good product.
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of people did because
it suited you.
It did. So it's been a lot of work on my part since the foundation went out of market because. So friends, you know how your friends would tell you, try this makeup brand, try this one, it will work. Come, let's do testing. And these days, you would have to go for testing so that they can check if the product matches your skin type, color, what makeup would, go with and everything. So basically, I've been having a lot of, hey, come and try and all of that. I've done a couple of it. I've gone to do a couple of trials.
After this particular makeup
was recalled, exactly. It took a while for me to actually say, okay, let me try another brand and see if this makeup brand would work for me. So I'm aware that some people try brands and it gives them rashes, acne, skin discolorations and other stuff. But I don't know if I've had
any outbreak
or breakouts. I may have had some
breakouts,
yes, some bumps. I've had some bumps showing on the face and all of that. But we're still talking relationship situation with the skincare language.
If I'm going to ask you,
but just before you even get to the question, don't forget that when I started, I said that I'd been off the
dating market.
Are we talking dating now? So don't forget, I said I've been off of this for a long time, because the brand was recalled about 5 years plus 6. Oh, wait. Yeah, 5+ years ago. 5 years ago, actually, the brand was recalled, and now after being out of this market, this makeup scene for over 20 years, I'm now trying to see what foundation, what concealer, what contour palette works and fits with my skin tone, that would actually blend with me.
So how many visits have you had to a makeup studio?
The makeup trials and stuff, right?
To get you to try different.
Not necessarily studio. So that's the thing. You think it's just a makeup studio. We have more than makeup studios now. There's technological advancement in this marketing brands now.
Right.
Yeah, it's not like it used to be before where that there were certain brands, that were the top brands, like 4 or 5, and just go for this one, it will work for you, Yeah, but this time around, you have so many, the good, the bad, the ugly, it's flooding the market, so you don't know which one to choose. And now we have the type where AI would actually help work on your, matching your makeup test and everything. Are we still talking about makeup this time around? But yeah, So, but I did try some dating sites.
Oh, yeah, just come out clean. You're talking about dating.
Yes, I
Using the
am.
same skincare makeup
Language.
thingy language.
Exactly. Exactly.
So you've been there like 2 times, and have you been able to find anything that
Well,
suits
I
your
did. The
skin?
first person we just got told me outrightly, or we're supposed to meet, and then told me outrightly, look, your ideology, the way you think, why don't you try Christian dating sites? Because you won't find it in this regular. And I'm like, I don't understand. Why must I go to a Christian dating site to meet a Christian? I mean, it mustn't be that, because even
We
a
are the
Christian
salt of
dating site.
of the earth. We should be all over the place.
Exactly.
Not really restricted to
And what
Christian
makes you
dating
even
sites.
sure that in Christian dating sites that there are Christians there?
I've said that before. It's possible for you to be on a Christian dating site and find out that there are people there that are not exactly Christians.
Wolves in sheep clothing.
They're just there because, well, they just feel that there are maybe men or women there that they can lure, or
Yeah.
that they can attract.
I mean,
Everyone
we've been
is
to dating sites and saw married men on the
yes.
dating site, and you're wondering, I don't understand, what are you doing there? I mean, it's so obvious that you're married on your status, and you say you're just there for friendship.
In his
Come on.
defense, the person I met said he was feeling bored. So being on a dating site was a way of finding amusement for himself. So maybe that was why he was there. Of course, it wasn't funny. So the point is, you could be on a dating site and you're looking for a Christian, even if it's a special kind of dating site. You might not find it, and you might just find a Christian on a regular dating site.
True.
Yeah, that's why I said we are the salt of the earth.
I like that Bible translation.
You should be
You're
everywhere.
quoting.
let me quote it in this regard. They should be everywhere. Christians should be everywhere.
Yeah, really.
But we should also admit though that there's that scarcity in terms of men who are really truly Christians. I'm not even talking men now. I mean in this country, I think if you're coming from Nigeria, which is deeply religious, we are coming to a country that, as much as we do know that Christianity evolved from here and was taken to the African continent by the missionaries, we can truly say that the UK is more of a secular state, and people here they are free about their beliefs. Some of them are spiritual, some of them don't even believe in God. So if you're actually looking for a Christian, it kind of feels like you're searching for a needle in a haystack,
right?
Exactly. So that has been the experience so far for many people that I know that are trying the dating. So some of those who have succeeded are those who have been able to bend their rules.
Yeah, talking about bending rules. Don't forget, I don't know if I ever told you this about the Christian guy I met who was he said he was very into me, and I was like, oh really? But we're just meeting. We met at a friend's place for I think Christmas dinner or something like that, and then
I remember
he asked for, oh, can we just have coffee? I mean, innocent, I thought, okay, innocent coffee, because I really wasn't into him, but I thought, okay, let me use this and try and enter into this dating scene again, and
you wanted to test waters.
Thank you. I think that's the right
waters.
word, girl.
Okay.
You always have the right words. So we went, and then we're having this thing, and then the next thing he says was he could guess how old I was, and I'm like, what do you mean? Okay, guess. And he said, I said, you could actually just ask me. And he asked me, and I told him, and it was like, yeah, I knew you were around that. I said, oh, really? So next thing he says is he likes me. I really, really like you. I'm like, oh, thank you. And I was like, okay, so I would want us to, be together, because he sounded like I scratch my back, he scratched my back. How do
You have
say
an
that?
itch.
I
He
scratch-
wants you have an itch. He wants to help
So
you to.
He said, you can't scratch your back by yourself. I said, no, can you break this down for
We
me?
have
Because I
back
really don't
scratchers
understand
now.
what you're saying. He said, now, as in, like, you can't just be there. I'm sure, you would need somebody. You need a companion and everything. And I'm
What
like,
a good Christian.
okay, so I need companion. And I was like, I said, look, come out, right? Are you trying to tell me that you want to sleep with me? And I was like,
Oh Lord,
I know
Affi, you
what.
just had to
I'm
hit the
sorry.
nail on the head. The
Exactly,
man
I
was
do
trying
that.
to use symbolism for you now,
I
but
don't do symbolism. Look, if you like me, come out right and tell me you like me. If this is what you want to do, come out right and tell me. That's the thing, because I will tell you the same thing. And I told him, I'm sorry. I thought, in fact, the first thing I said was, aren't you a Christian? And he was like, leave that thing. The people that brought Christian, don't you know that they are doing it? I said, which people are? He was like, they are doing it there, even in the church or anything. I said, maybe it's the people you hang around with. Because the people I hang around with in my church, and it's the ones I know. They are not doing it. And if they are doing it, so will we follow them and go and put our hand inside fire?
let me just clarify.
What?
For the purpose of this conversation and for the purpose of those who are listening, doing the eat. What's the eat that you are talking about?
Okay, I'm talking about having sex outside of marriage.
Okay, yes.
Now, I'm not condemning anybody here. If that's what you want to do or anything, that's solely your
Absolutely fine.
decision,
Yeah.
But for me, I just feel as a Christian, personally, I wouldn't want to have sex outside of marriage. And so I told him that I'm sorry, I don't want that. And he was like, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, like, aren't we eating pork now? And that the Bible says we shouldn't eat pork, but we're eating pork here everywhere in the UK, that we're eating pork and anything. I was like, yeah. So because people are eating pork, so that means that if they say,
If
I
you
think that
have
was
a
when I
personal
said, if there's another thing that is wrong, so you must always. I gave him a personal example. I can't
analogy.
remember
Okay.
exactly, and he was like, he really didn't have anything to say. And I looked and I was like, and then he didn't want people to know that people that introduced us to know that whether we would be having a relationship. That's if I'd agreed. And for me,
Wait, did he tell you that he wanted to keep it private?
Yeah, he did. He told me that. For me, the audacity he had was actually thinking that I would turn around and still say yes to him. Like I was that desperate.
Yeah, you're needy.
He made it sound that
You're
way.
needy. I mean, you're
Needy of what? Oh yes, I have sexual needs. I confess to that. That's not an issue. But you see, because I have sexual needs does not make me desperate. Does not mean that I will open my laps for every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Does not mean that I must actually go and what's the word now? Scratch that itch, if that's what we're going to.
First of all, Affi, that point where he wanted to keep the status of whatever it was you guys were supposed to be having private, taking away from the from people around you that brought you together, from them being involved, it took away the opportunity for them. That is a red flag, because obviously
A big one.
this guy probably had a steady relationship, and once he heard the word widow, it was like, oh yeah,
Opportunity.
she's going to need me, and this is the point where I need to just swoop in and sell it to her that I'm actually helping you, wherein I am the one getting most of the pleasure, whatever it is. So the point where he was telling you, let's keep our settings private, that was it.
But why do people have such mindset about women who are single of a particular age or a particular status? As you said, maybe they're single parents or widows. You feel that you're doing them a favor by wanting to have sex with them. That you're doing them a favor because they must want it, they must desire it, so they must need someone to do it, and it's difficult for them to get. Come on, it's difficult for them to get men, or it's difficult for them to get the kind of man they would want. So it's I don't know what word to use now. Like they're doing you a favor.
The perception is this, right? For widows, they believe that beggars aren't choosers, and once you become a widow, there's something that is stripped off you: the protection of the man in your life, the security of that relationship is taken away from you. So as a widow, you're left vulnerable. That's the truth.
Very vulnerable.
You're vulnerable to everything, everybody around you. I have said this before. I'm not sure I've shared it with you. I have had to be propositioned to by my auto spare parts dealer. I wanted to get something for my car. This was during COVID, and he brought it quite all right. And then from there, it was like, I wanted to say, oh, thank you, because it's somebody I know. Can I give you a drink? Can I offer you a drink? She said, no, I want more than a drink. I want a kiss as a thank you. I'm like, what? Where is that coming from? And I was like, come on, you can't tell me that you don't need someone to kiss you or to hug you because your husband is dead. So I don't mind playing that role in your life. And I was like, hey. So everyone comes to you. Not everyone, don't let me generalize, but that's because you're so vulnerable. They know that you are easy pickings. So, and if it's someone that has not managed to guard their sexual needs by not by guarding, I mean putting like like wearing sunglasses or like wearing a, what do you call that, a visor over it. You don't make yourself available to everything around you. You don't watch everything around you. If you're somebody like that, then you would not be easy pickings. But if you're somebody that knows that, yeah, those needs are there, but what do you do with those needs? You can actually divert them into something productive. Maybe engage in an activity, get very physical in the gym, or become more busy. So if you're somebody like that and you are diverting the attention to something else or the need to something else, then you're not easy pickings. But if you've not managed to rule that part of your life or get it under control, you are really easy pickings. And then you also will be telling yourself that, yeah, it's a need. I need to satisfy it. And there's nothing I can do but to satisfy it. So anyone that comes into my life, it is fine.
Do not put yourself in that vulnerable position. Do not, I repeat, put yourself in that vulnerable position, especially as a widow or a single parent. Because look, they feel, as you said, beggars have...
Widows are beggars and
have
choosers.
No choice. Yeah. Beggars are not choosers,
They
so a beggar
choose.
has no choice. Come on, you're not a beggar and you have every choice. Even if, let's just say I'm out let me scatter the box now and, and say, even if you actually you want to have a sexual relationship with someone, you should still be able to have your pick, to be able to pick the person you'd want to have it with, and not just any Tom, Dick, and Harry. And don't put yourself in that position where any Tom, Dick, and Harry will come talking to you. Sometimes we don't put ourselves in that situation. We just find out that these people, they don't have that sense. They still come to you and want to talk to you anyhow.
Yeah.
But please have the right response for them. You don't have to insult, but make sure that by the time you're done with them, they will not. In fact, they will go and spread the news.
They will hesitate to approach any other
don't come.
single woman.
Do you get?
Yeah. So
it's not fair. I don't know how to say this.
We are seen as prey, and that would always be it. In fact, the thing about this experience is it's not peculiar to you alone. It's a general thing. I remember reading a book where this woman was talking about, the main character became newly bereaved. She was young and she was approached. We're talking about in a British setting. She was approached by every man around her because they felt that, come on, you need a shoulder to cry on. Let us just help your life. Let us assist you. It's an assistance. We are doing charity work.
Oh, you are the charity now.
Exactly. So we are volunteering to help your life. So that perception, I'm very doubtful that it's going to change. But what widows can actually do is just try not to see themselves the way people see them. And even if they approach in such manner or in such brazen way, just tell yourself that I am more than this. And also, as much as possible, try not to reduce yourself to be easy picking, so that when they approach you, don't say, okay, I also need this. I think there's a way about setting standards that actually help you. So if you do set standards, it's going to help you manage that. And if you're going to have sex, okay, but make sure that you're doing it in a decent way where you're not even going to be contracting, all these STDs, all those things are out there. And then you're putting yourself, so as much as you're vulnerable, you're putting yourself in a very, very risky situation. So women should...
And it's a situation where you'll be ridiculed at the end of the day.
You will be ridiculed, yeah.
You lose your respect. And I'm just going to point out something I think women need to do for themselves, find something to do. As a widow, find something to do. Find a handwork. Find a business to do. Okay. I know it's not easy in different parts, of the world, but if you can get something to eat every day, find a way to have something to do, because it will help you, one, prevent you being a prey to all those Kurukere men that are going everywhere,
Predators,
trying to look for
wolves,
vulnerable women to prey on. It would protect you from them. And then it will stop you from being a beggar.
Absolutely.
Because we are also put in this position where the main provider for a lot of women, or a lot of widows, the main provider is no more in the scene. And so even if both of you are bringing in things before, once one person is cut off, the half you're bringing in might not be enough. So it's putting you in a vulnerable state already as it is. So if you have something to do, that helps in a lot of ways. If you don't have anything to do, it's a problem.
It is a problem. I was going to add to that I would never advise a young woman who's just setting out in life about, maybe just finishing school or in school and is not yet married, but thinking about the future. When I get married, what's going to happen? No young woman should approach marriage with the idea that a man is going to take care of all my needs. You need to have a job. You need to have a business.
Exactly.
Because if and that's a big if, because not everyone is going to become widowed, especially at a young age. If push comes to shove and you happen to find yourself without your husband, then you must still be able to take care of the children. It might not be at the level where all of you were used to, or even take care of yourself. Let's imagine you do not have children. You should still be able to fend for yourself or yourselves in a manageable way.
Exactly. And I would share my story a bit. So I was working in a good organization. I was working with the BBC, and then my husband died. And one of the things I did, as soon as he died, after the burial, I threw myself back at work because that helped my sanity. Of course, my work people, family members were like, Affi, it's not time, and all of that. But I knew I needed to do this, And that was the period I said I had a loss of memory. I could hardly remember things, something that, I'm supposed to read. I would read this and then it just wouldn't make
I think
a lot of sense,
for that. Widowed brain or something. Yes.
For months, I was not in my right mindset. I couldn't remember things. And I'm glad I had that job. But a few months down, or about a year down the line, well, less than a year, my contract ended. It wasn't just me, a number of us. And so I had to stop working. That few months I was out of work was, I don't want to say it was hell, no, but it was terribly tough. It was tough. We eat eba. Eba is gari. What we call cassava flour.
Together
you use with hot water. You turn into a pudding, hard pudding, and then you eat it with soup. I remember that. My children had to eat that. One of them went to boarding school. The second one, the younger one, I was home, was eating it almost every day because it was what was available.
What was affordable.
Yes, well, affordable as well, because I needed to manage. I was paying a lot of money for my rent by myself in Abuja. We were living in a 3-bedroom. I was going to move, but then houses were crazily expensive at that period. So even if I needed to move to another place, it would have still been costing me almost as much, if not much more expensive than where I was at that point. So don't say, oh, you're still living in a 3-bedroom, even though, no, it wasn't about living in a 3-bedroom.
You have 2 daughters. Where, if you are living in a 3-bedroom, are you supposed, oh yeah, please finish this. It just reminds me of something someone told me. Please finish this.
So the thing is, the rent would have still been about the same thing. So I had to stay there, and then the memories. I couldn't just yank my children away from where they were living with their father and, all. So it was really tough trying to manage all of that at that period. And but the thing is, because I had a handwork, because I had been, to school, I had a talent, I had a skill, I was good at what I was doing, I was looking out seriously for a job and everything. I got called back to work, which I was really happy about. And that was a period I knew that I couldn't stay back in the country, because I was like, I lost my job. I was looking for a job like crazy. And people kept telling me, oh, Affi, I wish we could help. We wish we could help. Oh, Affi, we can't pay you. You were working with the BBC. Oh, Affi, you're good at this and good at that. But then I don't get the job. And those few months really scared me bad, that if I run out of whatever money I have at this point and I didn't get a job, how would I survive? How would I take care of my children? Another thing that came to my mind was insecurity was increasing. And I was like, if
In
something happened to
Abuja
me, yes.
or in the north
In
at the
in
time?
Abuja, yes. So I was like, if something happened to me, if I was kidnapped or something, what would happen to my children? How would I be able to get out of this? So it was just choking me. And that period, I went from depression, fear, all of that emotions and everything. And I knew I couldn't stay in the country again. That was one of the major reasons, or some of the major reasons why I needed to leave the country, just so that I could get my sanity back. It's not even security, it's not everywhere. But the thing is, when you've gone through that kind of situation where a death, a loss that's caused trauma in your life, you just, at that point, you just needed to do what you needed to do to get your sanity back together.
Absolutely.
And I had to do that. Now, in this country, you might not have, like where I am now, I'm not having the best of jobs, like where I would want to be, but there's always a job to do. And you always have a job to be able to pay your bills. Now, for me, that's some kind of stability, especially for me as a widow.
And for your children.
And for my children.
Absolutely.
I'm not relying on anyone. I'm not depending on anyone to survive. I mean, I have people who help me out here, which I'm so much super grateful for. There are people helping me out, people supporting me, and I know that God brought them my way, and I'm super grateful to them. I thank God for them every day. But I am not depending on them to survive. I am not putting myself in a vulnerable state where if they are not there, then I can't survive, or my children cannot survive. No. And this is what we're telling you as a woman, whether you're a widow or even a married woman in your house, please find something to do. Nobody knows tomorrow.
Don't sit down and say, oh,
Find
guys,
something
is
to
bringing
do.
money in, so I don't need to. I mean, I've seen this happen time and time and time again, where, especially for those who marry men that are already ready-made, wealthy, they are providing for every one of their needs. And I do understand. I mean, I would also like to live that kind of life where I don't get to do anything. If it did if it was that easy for me, but I get bored easily. So sitting down and not doing anything has never been my, my
Although I'm ready to do
suit.
that now, baby. So
Because
if you're there,
we've been
please.
working like
I beg, I'm ready for that soft baby girl life
I
now.
am.
I'm ready to stay back. I've done a lot of work. I can relax for a while until I get bored again. Trust me, 2 years, I might not still be bored.
Like
so
seriously,
I'm ready to
you've
stay.
done the kind of jobs that you've done, like back to back. So you need a vacation of like 3 years even.
I'm saying, baby.
Yeah, But I've seen people like that, women like that they are so dependent, completely 100% dependent on their men, and then something happens. First of all, you have to deal with the drama of the in-laws swooping in and taking over everything. You have to deal with that. Then you have to try and calibrate. You recalibrate and say, what can I do now? How would my life move forward? Especially if you have children. So you're looking for a job. That is, if you've even worked for a long time, you have to try to put yourself in a situation where you're trying to navigate that. And it's not going to be easy. So the best thing is never ease yourself out of regular employment or regular business or self-employment because you are married to a man who is providing for all your needs. It's not a good or ideal situation. Not that we are wishing anyone any evil, like losing the
No.
spouse. No,
It's
it's
not
just.
even losing a spouse. These days, the way economy is going,
What about if the man
cost of
loses his
living
job as
is
well?
rising.
Exactly.
Inflation, things are just happening. You never can tell, and nobody's saying that it would happen to you. But we're just saying it's better that both of you have good thing going, and you enjoy it together till your old age. It's better you have more than enough than have nothing at all.
Absolutely.
Should anything happen.
Absolutely.
You said to remind you were going to say something.
Yes. I don't know whether I want to put it in this episode because I think it's already something else that we can actually talk about in another conversation. But I remember when you were saying what somebody told you, and I know about you trying
Wait,
to manage
hold
your.
on. Just before, hold that thought. Well, we started from trying to date and what it's like dating, and we moved on from how
We are
trying to
perceived.
date, you get vulnerable as a widow. And I mean, that's what we've experienced, So you become a vulnerable person to be preyed on, and why you should try to help yourself not to get into that
Not
situation.
put yourself
And
as much
I
as you can.
think we need to still go back to this talk about dating because baby girl has to share her own stories with you. And I still have one more to share with you, okay? So stick with us, okay? Because in another episode, we're going to be talking about this. Thanks for joining us. I am Affi.
And I am Funmi.
Bye for now.